Welcome to Actual Scale Modelling. This is part 5 of Airfix's Avro Lancaster, scale 1 to 72. In part 4, I built the engine cowls and placed them onto the wings, and I'm going to carry on with that area with building up the landing gear. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. First of all, I'm going to be painting the wheels, so I'm painting the central hubcap to begin with, and I'm using Avro 56 aluminium for this. For the tyre, I'm using light colour black rubber shades tyre black. I know I've mentioned these in the past, but these light colour paints for blacks, especially for rubber colours, are excellent for tyres and pipe work and things like that. So if you're able to get a hold of a set of them, I would recommend them. Next to be painted is inside covers, and it's 78 Cockpit Green by Avro. These are the covers that will enclose the landing gear if you're not using them, or obviously they'll be left out. Same as the covers here, this is for the bomb bays, so they're getting the same inside colour. For the outside of these covers, I'm using Rebel Aquacolor 08 matte black. This will be the main colour on the underside of the Lancaster. But once the covers are on, they're a bit awkward to paint, so it's a good time to start painting them. And then it's onto the landing gear struts. The main colours here are Avro 56 aluminium, as well as Avro 78 Cockpit green. Now again, I'll point out these colours are my interpretation of it. These are not necessarily the exact colours the original aircraft would have. I just prefer the cockpit green for the inside, so therefore I'll do the struts the same colour. And now, as you can see, I've zoomed in a little bit for this paintwork. I've been asked to try and zoom in a little bit more when I'm building these kits. Some people are having difficulty actually having a look at watching what I'm doing, depending on what device they're watching the video on. They've also asked me to get rid of the little split screen as well. So I'll get rid of that, and I'll see how well I get on with it. It may crop in from time to time. Basically, I may just forget not to use it, but I'll try and keep it tight with the zoom and leave off the split screen. If you do actually have any other ideas how I can better film this, please let me know in the comment section. It's time to install these struts. Now I've already placed one in there, so it's the second one I'll show you. Now these are a bit strange. Normally you would think you would put them from the underside upwards, but they actually go in from the top. They're a bit tight to fit in. There's location points right at the back of the bulkhead plate, which the cement has to go into. You have to be careful when you're putting the cement on. You can't do it on the strut itself as you push it down, because that will drag the paint and leave you in a little bit of a mess. So a bit of delicate work is needed here, just to fit it so you're not going to mess up the paintwork that you've already done. So once I place them in, then I'll just use my tweezers to gently position the actual location points pins into the corresponding holes. It is a little bit tricky, it takes a little bit of manoeuvring, and it's also important to get these 100%, because once you have them on the wheels, they can come undone and pop up, and you'll be in a world of trouble then. So it's good just to spend a bit of time making sure these are 100% secure. On the underside, the struts flared out a little bit too much for my liking, so I've put a little bit of cement on and just squeezed them near the actual airframe itself, and that done the trick. Again, it just gives a little bit of security when you put the wheels on. So the next part of the landing gear mechanism is the support braces. The location points for these are not 100% clear, and it certainly doesn't help with my hands getting in the way here. But if you put the cement just right in the corners where the bulkhead is, then you shouldn't have too much difficulty. They do go at an angle, and you will have to work quickly here for the next part if you want to get it all lined up properly. The next part is a sort of cross supporting beam, and there's only two small areas where you put the cement to hold the main strut and supporting strut, and you can put a little bit at the end just to anchor it on the bulkhead as well. So actually 3 points of cement really. The idea is to link up the bar on the main strut first of all, and then positioning the diagonal supporting strut onto the crossbeam. Now there is little location points for this, but they are quite difficult to maneuver in. So if you look at the one that's already been done, you can see the angle I'm trying to achieve. When the second one goes in, you may still have to maneuver this diagonal support strut as well. So they're very, very tricky to fit in position, and I had to tinker around with it quite a bit until I was happy with the position. Don't be tempted to leave it until it's semi-set, so it's starting to bond and you can just maneuver in position. They can still slip out, and then your plastic will be melted, and it will just look a mess inside there. Granted, you're not going to be able to see much inside there anyway, but you'll know it's there, and it will be very, very annoying if that happens to you. I waited a good couple of hours until these parts dried. I didn't want to take any chances before fitting the covers. There's a supporting arm on these covers that you would snip off if you're having the covers completely closed up. But in this instance, because I've got them open, it's left there, and that rests on the main support strut. You will probably have to maneuver in position for it to connect. It's when you do it, it doesn't appear to be long enough at first. It's just the cover itself has got to be in a certain position for it to actually make contact. So you can just about make it out there, the supporting strut that's going on to the main strut there. They will have to be held in a position as well. They have a tendency to flop back down until the cement is cured apart. So just be aware of that. You can either stick a paint pot there, or just hold it yourself until you're happy with it, that it's not going to move. So there, I'm just having to squeeze it back in a position. This part you have to do after the struts are in is the flaps. This is because I'm having the flaps open. So first of all, I'm putting in the tail end of the cowl. Now there's two options here. There's one part if it's going to be lying flat, and the other part is angled if the flaps are going to be open. Mine's are going to be open, so I've chosen the angled part. So as you can see, I've already done one side. I'm just fitting the other side, and the tail end just butts up against the cowl and the actual flap itself onto the wing. It's quite a simple fit. It looks a little bit complicated, but it really isn't. The secondary flap is just a straight fit and shouldn't give you any trouble. While that's drying, I'm going to take the opportunity to start the props. So I'm using Humbrol 24 Trainer Yellow for the yellow flash, and I like to paint the whole blade in the yellow colour, so when I put the black on, or whatever colour you decide to use, it is going to be even. So then it's back to the actual cowl itself, and it's time to put on the top covers. Each one will have its own, well, each set will have its own left and right side, so be careful with that, and they just get put on. One of them didn't quite fit, as I was hoping. There was a bit of a gap. Now I don't know whether that was because I fitted it incorrectly or what really, but there was a bit of a gap that needed to be taken care of. There was also a hairline gap on the edge of the wing here, but I think that was just because I forced it open by mistake during the build. I didn't have it secured enough, or it wasn't bonded enough, I should say. So to fill this in, I used a little bit of larger plastic putty just to close the gap. I just placed it in, and that was it. I mean, it wasn't a great drama to fix. It was just slightly annoying that I had this gap. And the last thing I'm going to do in this video is just prep the rudders. So I'm just putting a little bracket on before marrying up the two halves. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, that way you'll be kept up to date. Hit that like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.